start standing today though. So at the top of our mat, we are just going to begin to ground ourselves, spreading our toes down in, and like each little piggy pressing down. And as we glance down at our toes, we should be able to see bits of the mat in between each of the toes. Good. And then pressing the heels down, and then lift the arches so that just the outside edges of our feet are pressing into the mat. And then begin to grow, lengthening in those legs, activating our thighs and our glutes as we come up, our core, lifting our heart, pulling the chest or the shoulders back to open the chest, reaching the fingers down toward the ground, lifting from the top of our head. And we can close our eyes and take a few deep breaths in through our nose, out from our mouths. Kind of check in with how we are feeling today. And we'll seal our lips, inhaling and exhaling through our nose. And then we'll inhale, lift those hands up high. And then exhale, bend the knees deeply and hinge at the hips, folding forward, rounding in the back, and just kind of hang in this little forward fold here for 2 breaths. And then slowly inhale, rolling our way up. Hands up high again, reaching for the sky, pressing into those feet, lengthening from our fingertips down to our feet. And then again, bending the knees, hinging at the hips, rounding in the spine. And then slowly we'll roll our way up. And now this time, exhale. Let's bring our elbows down to a cactus or a goalpost arms, lifting the heart, bringing those hips forward, tiny arch in the back. And then inhale, stretching high. And then again, exhale, bending at the knees, folding forward. From here, let's bend the knees enough so that our hands can find the floor. Give ourselves that little wiggle, and then we're just going to walk those hands around to the right. You can keep those knees bent if we need. And then we'll just slowly walk those little hands all the way around to the left. And then back to the center. And now from here, let's bring our hands to our shins and begin to lengthen in the legs just a little bit. It doesn't have to be all the way long, just a little bit. And then exhale, we'll bend those knees, hands find the floor again. Inhale, just a little bit of length in those legs. And then exhale down. and then round as we rise all the way up to the sky. Good. Again, goalpost arms, lift the heart, little arch in the back. Inhale up. And now let's bring those hands to our hearts, and we're going to step back with the left foot and open up our feet nice and wide. Our toes will point out to the corners of the room. Elbows will come to our ribs, and then inhale. Let's lift those hands up high. And then exhale, sitting down, elbows to our ribs. Good. Inhale up. And exhale down. Little moonflowers, moving with our breath at our own pace. Let's do one more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Inhale, let's come up. And now exhale, we'll bend those knees and the hands will come to the thighs. Sitting down, keeping that back straight as we sit into this squat. Good. And then from here, we'll do shoulder dips. So exhale, we'll just drop that right shoulder using those hands to keep the spine long. And then inhale back to the center. And then exhale over to the other side, dropping that left shoulder. And back to the center. And then exhale. And back up. And exhale, twist. And back up. Let's do one more to each side. And when we're finished, we'll find ourselves in the center. Inhale all the way up to the sky. Good. And now exhale, bending those knees, hinging at the hips. Let's scoop up those sunflowers. And inhale up. And exhale down. And up. And exhaling, lowering down, using that whole body to lift and lower. Let's do one more. Inhale up. And exhale, coming down. And inhale all the way up to the sky. Good. Now let's point those toes right in front of us a little bit. And exhale, a little wide-legged forward fold here. Hinging at the hips. Hands can find the floor underneath of our shoulders. Drop the head. Good. And now hands are underneath of our shoulders here. We're going to keep that right hand on the floor. Feet are, so we have our little triangle, hand, foot, hand, and then lifting up that left hand up to the sky. And now much like when we do threading the needle, we want to make sure that we are keeping those hips level. So we don't want to shift to lift that hand up high. We're going to twist. And back down to the center. Take a breath. And then our left hand will stay on the floor. Right hand will lift up to the sky. Open up those shoulders. And back down to our fold. We'll release the head. The hands can kind of take a little bit of a break. And then Softening the knees, inhale, let's lift all the way up to the sky. Good, hands come down to our hearts. We'll point that right toe to the top of our mat. We'll step forward with the left, inhale, hands come up. And then big circles with our arms. Let's bring those knees together and sit down into our chair. And inhale, we'll come up, big circles with those arms. Get those shoulders all lubed up. And exhale, coming on down. And inhale up. And exhale down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. One more. Inhale up. And now exhale into our chair and we'll hold chair. Good, let's take that right hand back behind us, reaching the left out in front, reaching the right back behind, and then back up to the top. And then other side, left hand reaches back. And up. Inhaling high. And then exhale, let's fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Let's do long legs here. So hands to the thighs, the shins, the toes, or to our mats. And then exhale. Let's fold and step back with the left foot into our lunge. Little lunge here. Just kind of give ourselves that wiggle. And we'll step back with the right into a downward facing dog. Take some wiggle time here. Pedal the feet. Wag our tails. Feel those fingers pressing into the mat, the shoulders pulling away, the belly working toward those thighs. Good, and then we'll inhale forward into our version of plank. Plank could be on our toes or it can be on our knees. Either way, exhale, chest go forward, shoulders will lower down over those hands. And then inhale to a baby cobra, lifting that chest. Let's tuck the toes, press into our hands, back to our downward facing dog. Good. Let's look forward past our hands, bend the knees, and we'll step forward to the top of our mat into our forward fold. Inhale to a flat back, long legs, and then exhale, we'll fold. And then inhale, let's slowly raise ourselves up. Good. Exhale, cactus arms, little back bend here. And then inhale, we come up. And then softening the knees, hinging at the hips. Let's lower ourselves down into our fold. Inhale to our flat back. Exhale, we fold. And we'll step back with that right leg into the lunge. Give it a wiggle. Feel what we're working with today. And then we'll step back to our downward facing dog. Give it a wiggle as well. Pedal those feet, lengthen in the spine, bend the knees, and then begin to press the heels down in towards our mat. Inhale forward. Let's come to our plank. Exhale, we'll lower down. And then inhale, baby cobra here. Scooping that low back. Tuck those toes, press into the hands, downward facing dog. And then looking forward, bending the knees. Let's step forward to our forward fold at the top. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, we fold. Bending the knees, rolling our way up. And exhale, hands come down to our sides in Tadasana. Take a couple of nice cleansing breaths here. And then when we're ready, inhale, let's lift the hands up. Exhale, little arch, cactus arms. And then inhale up. Exhale, let's fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. And exhale, we'll fold. Left foot will go back to our lunge. Can stay on our toe for our lunge, but at any time we can always drop that knee if we need a little break or things aren't working for us the way we think. And then we're going to keep that left hand on the floor, lift the right up to the sky, easy twist. Good, and back down. Let's find our balance here and we'll lift up to a high lunge. Good, and exhale back down. Good job. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward. Exhale, we'll lower down. And then inhale, we can do our baby cobra or we can come up to upward facing dog. We'll tuck those toes, lift the hips, press back to our downward facing dog. And now lifting up the right leg. Good. Let's kick ourselves in the bum, bring that knee into our chest, and bring that foot forward into our lunge. Good. And then from here, let's come up to that high lunge again. And now this time, let's take the right arm back, left arm forward for a little twist. Just keep bending that right knee, pulling the left hip forward, keeping the shoulders over the hips. And then back up to our high lunge. And now let's open up warrior two, dropping that left heel, keeping the right knee bent, left leg is long, pressing into both of those feet, and then lifting from the pelvic floor, keeping that core strong, reaching in opposite directions with our hands, and then looking right over this third finger on the right hand. Let's inhale to a reverse warrior. And then exhale all the way down to our lunge. Inhale, right hand comes up. Exhaling down. And then stepping forward with that left foot into our forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, we fold. And then inhale, we slowly rise up. Good. Exhale, cactus arms. Lift the heart, hips come forward, shoulders back. Inhaling up. And then exhale, slowly folding down. Half lift. And then exhaling, right leg will go back for our lunge. Good. Right hand stays, left hand comes up, sinking down into that lunge, opening the hip, shoulders, sinking the hips, lifting the heart, pressing into both feet. Good. Exhaling down. Find that balance so that we can come up to our high lunge. Exhaling, hands go back down. We'll step back for a downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll come forward to our plank. Exhale, lower down. And then inhale, cobra, or we can come to upward facing dog. Tuck those toes. Press into our hands, downward facing dog. Left leg comes up high. And we'll step forward in between our hands. Good. Coming on up, high lunge. And then we'll twist to the left. Left hand goes back, right hand comes forward, bending that left knee, opening up nice and wide. And then back up to the top. And then we'll drop that right heel, open up warrior two. Let's lift that left hand, reverse warrior. And then cartwheeling it all the way down to our lunge. Good. Right hand stays on the floor, left hand comes up again. And back down. And now let's step forward into our fold. Give ourselves a pedal and a wiggle. Bend those knees. Hold our elbows. We can sway side to side if we like. Good. Releasing our elbows if we're holding them. Inhale. Let's come to a flat back. Exhale. Folding forward. Let's bring that chest toward the toes just a tiny bit further. If we need to bend our knees so our hands find the floor, let's do that. And now, little IT band help here. So we're going to take the left hand, keeping it on the floor. We're going to bend that left knee really, really deeply. And then begin to straighten this right leg. Hips will shift a little bit here. Right hand comes up to the sky. Good. And slowly we'll come back to the center. Wiggle it out. And then inhale. Let's come to a flat back. Exhale, we'll fold. Hands come to the mats. And now right hand, right knee. And then we're going to straighten the left leg. Raise the left hand. Good, and then slowly we'll release back down to our fold. We've been upside down for a little bit. So as we rise here, let's take some time to go slowly all the way up. Try and avoid the head rush. Hands come all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, let's bring them down to our sides for Tadasana. Take a breath or two. Let's equalize in our head a little bit. And then let's inhale, lift those hands up to the sky. Exhale, sitting down into our chair. Let's take that right hand back again. And back up to the center. Sink that butt down. Left hand goes back. Lift the heart. And back up to the center. And inhale all the way up high. And then exhale, little back bend here. Cactus arms if we like. Or we can begin to lengthen and reach our hands back behind us. Inhale up to the top. And now exhale, let's just bring those hands out in front of us like we're reaching for something out in front. Keeping those hips facing forward. As we exhale, we're just going to take those hands around to the left. Try and mind this left hip. It will want to follow. Don't let it. And back to the center. And then exhaling to the right. Same thing. Right hip will want to follow. Make our best efforts to keep it facing forward. And back to the center. And now with our breath, let's exhale to the side. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the other side. And to the center. Let's do that one more time, each side. And to the front. Exhale, last side. And back to the center. Let's bring those hands up to the sky. Exhale, little back bend. Hands can come over our heads, or if it feels better on our shoulders for cactus arms, please do so. Inhale, let's come up. And now exhale, let's fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Lengthen in that spine. Exhale, folding forward. Let's step back with that left leg. And we'll drop that left knee back behind us. So we'll be into a half lunge here, sinking those hips down. Knee is over the ankle. Chest is proud here. And then we'll inhale, hands come up for crescent lunge. Good. And now we're going to allow that left hand to come down to the mat. right hand is going to reach back and try and find that left foot, bending the left knee, bringing the toes or the heel in towards our butt for corkscrew. Good. Gently releasing that foot. We don't want to whack it down on the floor. We're in this low lunge. And now let's bring the hands up. Again, for crescent. And now from here, keeping that knee in the front bent, hips are sinking low, hands come down to our hearts, pressing into our palms, pulling the shoulders back. Lengthen in that spine. Now we're going to take this left elbow all the way around to the right thigh. And using that connection of our hands, we can help to open up those shoulders. Do one more inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open up those shoulders a little bit more, sink the hips down. And then at the tail end of that exhale, let's bring the hands back down to our mat. We'll tuck the left toe back behind us and we'll step back for downward facing dog. Wiggle it out a little bit if we need. Good. Let's lift up the right leg. Good. Bending the knee, bringing it into our chest. Let's place that knee behind the right wrist for pigeon. Flexing that right foot, softening the left, but then again, pulling that left hip forward. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Good. And then if we're folded forward, coming on up to our hands, we'll tuck this left toe back behind us and press back downward facing dog. Wiggle it out if we like. Good. And then looking forward, stepping or jumping all the way up to the top of our mat into our forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we fold. And then inhale, let's roll our way up. Exhale, little back bend here. Inhale, back up to the top. And then let's sit down into that chair again. Bring both hands back, Eddie the Eagle. Lift the heart, sink the butt down, tuck that tail. And then hands come back up. And now inhale all the way up high. Exhale, fold. Inhale to our flat back. Exhale, let's fold a little bit more. Then we'll step back with the right foot. Good, and now we're just gonna lower that right knee down to the mat. We can soften the foot behind us. Keep that left knee bended ever so deeply. Hands come up high. For crescent lunge. And then we can lower that right hand down to the mat. Left hand will reach back. Find that foot with our left hand. Pull that buddy in towards our butt and then keep bending that left knee. Open up the shoulders. Good, and then we'll gently release that foot. Back to our low lunge. And then again, hands come up high. And we'll bring them down to our hearts. This is a great time. Pull those shoulders back. Begin the press here in our palms. And then exhale. We'll twist to the left. Bring that right elbow all the way around to the outside of this left knee or thigh. Let's do one more breath. Lengthen on the inhale. Deepen that twist just a little bit more. And then when we get to the tail end of that exhale, we'll unwind. Hands can find the floor. We'll tuck that right leg back underneath and then step back, downward facing dog. Give ourselves a wiggle if we need. And then lift up that left leg. Lengthen it back behind us. And then we'll bend the knee, bring it into our chest, and place it behind the left wrist. Flexing the foot here, softening the right leg behind us. Here for 2 more breaths. And if we need to, we'll rise up to our hands. We'll tuck that right toe again. Press back, step back to our downward facing dog. And again, give ourselves a wiggle. Good. And now from here, we're just going to take a couple of little steps to like the center of our mat here. And we're going to open up those feet, heel toe, a little bit wider than our hips. And point those toes out toward the sides, and then just lower our butts down for a malasana squat. Butts are low, chest and shoulders are nice and high. And again, press into our palms, using those elbows to open up the knees. Good, and then our hands can come down to our mats, and we can just lower those knees down. We'll swish our feet over to one side so that we can come back onto our bottoms into a seated position. Our legs will be out in front of us. And now we're going to take this left leg, tuck it in, lengthen the right leg for Janu Shirshasana. Finding those sitting bones, pointing those right toes up toward the sky, lengthen in the spine. Now we're just going to turn our shoulders over toward this left knee and lift our hands up to the sky. And then we're just going to spill over to the side, lowering that left arm to the ins, or lowering the right arm to the inside of the right leg. Left arm reaches up and over. And then when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we're not just collapsing on this inside. We're still lengthening and lowering. We don't want to create undue pressure in our bodies. One more breath here. Inhale. And then exhale. Let's just lower that left hand and turn those shoulders toward the floor, to the mat, into a little forward fold here. Drop the head, relax the shoulders. And then help ourselves up to the top, and we'll switch sides. So we'll lengthen the left leg. We'll tuck that right leg in. Find our sitting bones here. And then we'll turn toward the right, just so that we're facing that right knee, or the right knee and our chest are pointing in the same direction. Inhale, lift those hands, lengthen on both sides of our body, and then exhale, begin to reach up and over. We can lower the left arm to the inside of the leg. Right arm keeps the length going. Let's do one more breath. And then as we exhale, we'll just lower that right hand down to the mat. Little fold here. Again, drop the head. Relax the shoulders. Just round in the spine here. And then we'll slowly walk those hands back and lift the chest. We'll bring both legs out in front of us. And we'll hold behind our hamstrings, rock backwards, and give ourselves our rock and roll if we would like. And then we'll roll up into our little egg. We'll release the left leg down to the floor, and we'll hold on to that right leg nice and tight. Begin to relax the shoulders and our head into the mat. Pull that knee into our chest. And then we'll release the leg and guide it across for one more spinal twist here. Our left hand can touch that right leg, just allowing it to help the leg, not force it over. Just continue to guide it and encourage it over to the side. Our breath, make sure that we're relaxing all along in our spine, in our shoulders, in our hips. And then we'll unwind back to the center. Both knees come into our chest. Roll up into our ball. Release the right leg down to our mats, hugging the left knee into our chest. Tight, 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 tight. And release the leg and guide it across our body to the right for one final twist. And then we'll unwind, come back to the center. One more time, rolling up into our ball. A few deep breaths here. Inhale, big breath in, and then exhale, release into our Shavasana. Making sure that we're giving ourselves this time to just relax and to heal. Remind ourselves that it is a-okay to take some time to just be still. Begin to come back into our space. Deepen our breath. Wiggle our fingers and our toes. And bringing those knees back into our chest. And we'll roll over onto our side. With our eyes closed, we help ourselves up to seated. Take another moment to check in with how we are feeling right now. After our practice, after our Shavasana, we inhale, lifting our hands up to the sky, bringing them together at the top, and exhaling them down to our hearts with a purpose. I thank you so much for joining me today, for allowing me to help you through your practice. I wish you all a very, very happy and special day, and I encourage you guys to just take a few times throughout your day to just close your eyes and breathe and reconnect with yourselves. The light in the divine in me recognizes and respects the light in the divine in you, and when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste.